Yeah, so I'm with Quintine Mkhondo for this episode, and again, Quintine, boy, thank you so much for doing this.
Anytime, man. And I think the last time I saw you was when we moved out and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, we were roommates for like how long now?
2.5 years. Two and a half years. Yeah.
Straight out of varsity, man.
Straight out of varsity, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's been it's been a month now since we've moved out almost, and let me tell you, hey man, it's not easy. It's nice, but
it's expensive. I don't remember the last time I paid for Wi-Fi, bro. I didn't know Wi-Fi was this expensive, but man.
What electricity?
Yeah.
Plus now I'm on prepaid. Before it wasn't prepaid.
Okay.
So now it's like I put in 500 and that thing lasted for like a week and a half.
Are you serious?
Dog.
I'm still waiting for my bill, bro. So
it's you're not prepaid still. It's what's this?
So imagine it comes like 1,500 there, 2,000 one man.
Hey. Yeah. On top of the Wi-Fi, one man. Now everything one man.
Yeah. But it's part of growing up.
Yeah, it's the part of growing up, man.
Yeah.
Talking of part of growing up, what's this? I think the first point or first topic that I wanna talk about is the big hashtag. I am Quintine Mkhondo.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Because all I remember was that we were studying for our degrees. We finished our degrees, we were in honors, and then all of a sudden you were a sensation. Like there was hashtag Quintine Mkhondo, there was t-shirts being made, you were being interviewed on radio, and then they're like, oh, what's this? One of the youngest people to graduate actuarial science at 19 years old, and I'm like, this guy's 19. I've been with this guy for like 2-3 years, because we met in like what, second year ish.
Yeah, second year ish.
That's when we really became
second
friends.
semester there.
Yeah, I think we met in first year, and then second year that's when we became friends, studying together ish, and then third year that's when we even started hanging out a lot more, and from then on,
Zion land.
Those who know Zion will know Zion. We're not gonna go into that right now. So how did that whole hashtag come about? How did that whole thing?
So actually, the hashtag hashtag I am Quintine Mkhondo actually came when I was in second year. So a very close I call him my brother. His name is Fumani. You've met Fumani.
Yeah, we played.
Yeah.
Together,
So Fumani has had this thing as well. Hashtag I am Fumani Mnisi. So in difficult times, remember that second year stats, bruh. Some of us, you got hundreds every day, but some of us were struggling,
100. Only one. I'm proud of it, but just
so but it was almost like a way of just affirming that, even though things are difficult, this is my journey, and whatever I'm going through, it's unique to me. So it was something that he implanted in me as well. It's like, be proud of who you are, and whatever difficulties that you are going through, still what is this, remain with your true identity, and there's no other you. So I think those were the bad times, and then when the good times came as well, I embraced it even more. Do you get what I mean? So that's how it came about. But I won't lie, to some point I didn't like it anymore, because it felt like I'm boasting, like like now you're boasting, like, nigga, okay,
You're not like that nigga who was busy studying for subs with us.
Studying for subs, yeah. So I think that's the thing. People don't know how it came about. So they just like, oh, okay, when things are going nice for you, studying hashtags.
You were trending at some points, eh?
I know, man. Good times, though.
Even UP was like, what's this boosting you? Everything that UP does, you will post a 19-year-old graduate tax. Like, what's going on?
Good times.
So when you started it, you didn't know it was going to be as big as it became at some point?
No. Yeah, well, to be honest, it's not something that I use anymore, I think. But I think also it's just because I felt it was a bit boastful. I like to think myself as a very modest person.
So you didn't want to brag?
No.
Or seem like you're bragging?
Like I'm bragging. But I think, at the end of the day, I think I I let other people would I say I self-judged myself, maybe I would say I self-judged myself in that aspect, because like I say, the meaning behind it is not really like that. It's all about, owning your journey, and and you are who you are, and there won't be any other you. So yeah, that's really how it came about.
Yeah, because I remember when you were the big phenomenon there, that the way everything was portrayed, it was, because when you read like a newspaper and you hear someone did actuarial science, the first thing that people are like, yo, and then the second part is like, he graduated at 19. You're like, yo, and you're thinking about this Steve Jobs genius, and you might very well be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what's this to you? And I'm sure it was. Do you think they portrayed a true image of your journey through varsity as like the way it was portrayed in the media and every published?
Not precisely, but at the same time, I'm not worried about it, about the way they portrayed it. I mean, to be honest, yeah, fine. They portrayed me as this genius, and at the same time, it came with opportunities,
Yes.
Although there was, so it came with a lot of opportunities, but I think aside from, like, there were a couple of articles where I did mention my hardships. Like, for example, I remember when I moved into a back room in Mamelodi, I only had 5 kg and 50 rand to buy eggs from my grandmother.
Jeez.
When was this? This was back in 2013, when I was doing the extended program at the medical sciences.
Oh, so sort of like your first year.
My first year, yeah. So grade 13, as Mamelodians would say it.
Oh, because what's this? The way the program is structured is that usually there's 3 years, but if let's say you don't get 80 in math and you get like 75, you can do like an extended program where you start at mom's campus, Mamelodi campus, and then like where you do bridging courses, and then you jump into first year. So
are you talking about?
You're talking about?
Yeah, so I'm talking about that. Yeah, so yeah.
And you're how old?
How old was I?
2013.
2013. I was 15, turning 16. Yeah.
So 15 years old.
Yeah.
You're gonna turn 16 that year, and you're going to university. In a back room.
In a back room
with 5 kg and 50 rand.
50 rand, my guy.
Jeez.
50 rand, my guy. Yeah. I didn't have a fridge. I didn't have a wardrobe. Yeah. Good times. When I look back at it now you're here in my apartment in Sandton. So it's funny how things change.
Yeah. So because. The funny thing is that for me, when I think of a 19-year-old graduate, I think of the Sheldons. You know what I mean? The kids that everything came easy to them. They go to primary, they milked everything. They go to high school, they just killed everything. They go to university, it was simple nyana. And then what's this? So to you, what's this? When I hear that, firstly, you didn't just jump straight into actuarial science. You have to do a bridging course, but you were very young also at the same time. Meaning you could have graduated at 18 if you just... Even more spectacular.
Oh, maybe I would have extended my actuarial degree to 6 years.
That could have happened also. But so to you, do you how was for me, I went to, like a lot of people, I went to university when I was 18 and 19, and it was incredibly difficult. It wasn't as difficult as it was for other people, because at least I went to boarding since like grade 2, so I was already used to going to a new area by myself. But the responsibility of like you're on your own per se, and you have to kind of start creating your path. How was that for you as like a 15-year-old, where normal 15-year-olds are in grade 10 at that point?
No, it was an incredibly difficult journey. But I think one thing that helped to my advantage is that I had always been around older people. So I think from grade 10, so the guys were usually around 3 years older than me. So I had always hanged out with people that were older than me, right? So yes, the transition was very difficult, but I think in terms of adapting into varsity, fine. I got into university, and the guys were still like 2-3 years older than me, so it didn't really feel that much of that much of a change. Of course, it was university, and so I felt like I was in the same process of adaptation as the rest of them.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So it's not like basically I was from crash and then I went straight to high school, you know. So I think I've the age group has always been consistent throughout, you know. But yeah, it was hard. I mean, I couldn't cook. I couldn't cook. I couldn't do a lot of things for myself. But yeah, man, you have to soldier on. I think that also comes with being black, you know. When you are black, I think the world has little room for you to play victim.
Yeah,
you get what I mean. So even if I did try to play victim, I knew that if I went back home and I was like, no, I failed because I was young, they were like, you know, so what? You know, no one really cares. So I think also that thing where my background has always been a very motivating factor in anything that I do, because fine, I would have used an excuse to fail and say that I was young, you know, but no one would have cared. And at the same time, you go back home, you go back with nothing, you know. So yeah, it was mainly just adapting to the environment. And yeah, I'm sure even you didn't know that I was young, you know.
No, to be honest,
yeah.
The first time I realized that you that I was 2 years older than you was when the I Am Quintine Mkhondo came out. Yeah. Literally 3 or 4 years after we've been friends. Because when you're friends in varsity, you don't care. But varsity, the age difference is just all over the place. Yeah. Like you can be friends with 80-year-olds and they look like 22-year-olds.
Yeah.
And
see it with work. You see it with work as well. One of my best buddies is 65. So
But talking of you're talking about how you've always had been in classes with people older than you. So how does it happen that someone goes to university when they're 15? Like, how did it happen for you?
Yeah, so in the school that I went to, there were always 2 grades per class, right? So I think grade R would be grade 1, and then 2 would be with grade 3. So I'd always been in a class of like a combination. They call it, what is this, combined schools, right? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, when I was in grade 4, I was in the same class as grade 5 learners. And
but how does it work?
I actually don't know. I need to go back and ask them, man.
Yeah, because that's like very weird. That
but the only time when they start having classes separately is grade 10. So 10, 11 and 12 are all isolated.
Wait, so from grade 1 to 9, the grade
2.
It's 2.
Yeah,
but is it like grade 1 and 2 and in same class 3 and 4?
No, R and 1.
So R and 1,
yes,
and then 1 and 2.
No. Exclusive, not inclusive. R and 1, 2 and 3. R and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5.
So basically
6 and 7. So basically 4 classes for primary, and then 8 and 9.
Gee,
yeah,
that's very unique.
Yeah. So anyway, the my point is, so as I was in those situations, I ended up doing better than the guys who were in the grade higher than me. So I was in grade 4 with grade 5 learners. I was doing better than the grade 5 learners, you know.
Oh, so you're essentially doing the same work.
Yeah, same work, and I came out tops, you know. Oh. And then same thing happened in grade 8. They were doing CTA in grade 9, and I was doing CTA, but the grade 8 learners were not allowed to do CTA, you know. But I still did it because kapap. So yeah, that always, because I was relatively I actually used to do better than the guys, you know. And then they decided that you know what, the grade 5 learners are actually going to grade 6. Let's just take Quintine with them because he's on the same level as them anyway. So I think that's one thing that
Also, essentially you would spend 2 years. Let's say you're in grade 2, you're gonna be in that class, grade 2 and 3 for 2 years, and then you go to class 4 and 5 for 2 years. But I think there were points. Yeah,
I'm not quite sure about how they used to do the works, but yes, somehow they were different. But I don't really remember how they were different.
So you, instead of spending the 2 years in those classes,
especially spent one.
You spend.
Yeah.
And what's this? So you were able to kind of jump grades.
So that's really how it happened.
I need to know that school so I can take my kids to it.
Trust me, I don't think I'd want my kids to go through school very quickly. No.
Why? What's this? Do you think there's a drawback to that?
No, there aren't really drawbacks, but to jahetsing, man. Give them time to mature. Yeah. I mean. Yeah, there is a time in life for you to get tough, but sometimes don't take a 10-year-old to work. That type of thing. They need to have fun. They
need to
properly.
have the childhood.
They need to have the childhood, because for me, to be honest, before I knew it, I was at Investec working. So
yeah, exactly. And then once you get into that adult working life,
it's forever.
It's forever.
Yeah. So
hey, so what's this? So you skip a bunch of grades, and then you're in grade 12, and then you get a couple of distinctions and a couple of good marks there. You decide actuarial science is where I'm applying it.
Yeah.
Was there a conscious decision? Did you even know what actuarial science is?
I just knew those guys get paid. Well. I think that the first time I heard about actuarial science was actually a friend of mine who was in. Very close. His name is Kodisho, and he told me about it, because I was always that traditional mind, medicine, or engineering,
of course.
So
doctor.
But so as soon as he brought it to my attention, I actually started when I watched those top performers on TV, grade 12 top achievers. I'm going to use it here to do actuarial science. Okay, I let the first one slip. I was like, okay, it's whatever. The second year running, top learner, top essay learner, going to do this actuarial science, and then so I'm a very curious person. I'm like, okay, I know that guy might be smarter than me, but like, why is every smart person in the country wanting to do actuarial science? And then from there, I did a bit more research. And I was actually lucky to have a couple of local guys who actually did so well that they got into actuarial science themselves. So I think from there I was hooked. From there I was hooked. I actually didn't get a distinction for maths. I got it 78. Hence the reason why I did the extended program. But I was very psyched. I actually even wanted to go back to matric, because I didn't get the 80 in maths. And
which is still the same thing, basically. Just that now you're within university, instead of just going back to school, getting the marks and going to the 3-year program.
Yeah, and of course, like stuff like programming, you were babied into them. So that's how I heard about it. And
it's funny you say that, because I think that's similar to why I also studied actuarial science. That I think it was in grade 10. It has to be grade 10 or grade 9. There was a guy, the smartest guy in the class was someone called Dineo Makotanyani. He was smart from like grade 7 or until until grade 10, when I left the school for prestige. Northern Academy. So I think in grade 9, when you're talking, what are you gonna do? You're doctor, engineer, and then you hear somebody smartest kid. I'm gonna do actuarial science. You're like, actuarial science, smartest kid. That time I'm like, I never made the top 10. I think the highest I was there was number 11 at that point, and then jumped back to number 20 there. So I wasn't by no means regarded as one of the smartest kids in the school. But when you hear the number 1 kid saying actuarial science, and you're like, why? You're like, hey, it's maths and man. You're like, oh,
it's double M, maths and money.
Exactly. You're like, I like maths. I'm getting 85, 90 maths. Money, who doesn't want money? Oh, money. Then you're like, that's when the first seed for me was planted. And when I changed schools, that's when I started thinking, okay, engineering, what I'm not really into the physics, medical, I don't like life sciences and all that. And it kind of made sense that, okay, actuarial science is where maybe I would go. And I told myself, I also like the challenge and everything, you know what I mean? But I think that first seed of knowing the smartest kids,
exactly,
studying there. Yeah. And then, like you said,
don't want to be broke. Nobody wants to be broke, right?
And like you say, you watch TV and all the top, like, and then like actual science, and then you look at your marks like, Madeline, I can also get into this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so what's this from, you jump into varsity, and what's this? It was, you start doing your first year. Of course, it's an extended program.
Yeah.
It's not, so you don't expect to know, to do exactly what the core, what people are doing. But after your first year, you kind of, I know you kind of struggled, not in terms of what is academic wise, but the living wise. And because, like you say, back room, 15, 16-year-old alone, and you learn how to cook and you learn how everything, and then you start taking responsibility.
Well, you've lived with me, you know my cooking skills are not great anyway, so.
But you are able to eat, you know what I mean? You're able to cook what you need to cook and eat without dying. So that positioning yourself, that's the bare minimum you can ask for a 15, 16-year-old who stays alone. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so from there you go, and what's this? You do you basically your varsity journey starts.
Yeah.
How was it?
No, so first year was first year in actuarial science was actually much easier because the transition. They actually prepared us a lot for most of the first year stuff.
So you mean the extended program?
The extended program prepared us. Yeah, but I think things looked up for me a bit. And second year, I was I was no longer staying in a back room. I was staying in res. I was actually an academics hacker and then at the res.
What does that mean?
No, like you're in charge of like academics of res, like getting people tutors and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
You know, organizing events and stuff. Not that I did much anyway. I actually remember they didn't pay me in the first semester because I didn't do a lot of work. So that's how useful I was as a hacker, you know, because I essentially just wanted a single room. I heard that hackers get single rooms.
The privilege.
The privilege. Once I got the privilege, I forgot about my people.
Forgot about the wife. Like, you got what you needed.
And I remember I was so pissed when they said they didn't want to pay me, and I think the pay was like 800, 900. Yeah, for per semester, but second semester they paid all of us. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how. Yeah, first year wasn't so bad in actuarial. Second year was
started becoming
hard.
Serious.
Yeah, I started becoming serious. But also, I think I being honest with myself, I relaxed a bit in second year. You know, I was not as hungry anymore because I remember. So, I got a bursary. Like, you know, I was actually. Swimming in bursaries in second year, you know, and I was choosing. I'm like, nah, that one doesn't have money. I'm like, this one they say you have a job after you finish. I'm like, I'm done here, you know. I'm like, my life is set, you know. So I think that made me a bit complacent, you know. Although the course was challenging, but you know, I got my first SAP, you know. It was stats first semester, you know. I went into the SAP, I passed the SAP. But so I eventually lost my bursary.
For what reason?
Because I was playing. The thing is, I won't disclose my friend's name, but we had the same bursary and he was getting 90s. And we were the only two guys and at UP who had that bursary. And then like, this guy is getting 90s, this one is playing. Let's kick this one out. But I was like, aight, mate.
Then how did you survive after losing it then?
You have to beg, Baba.
You begged?
Yeah. Because I was in third year. I was like, no, I'll work harder. You know? Yeah, I begged, and then they covered my tuition.
For third year?
Just tuition. And I got, I think it's some skill bursary. Pays about 65 grand. So that was good enough to cover me.
Tuition fees,
to cover the... Yeah, and man. Honors afterwards, and then,
what's this? So in third year, what's this? Did you become more serious, or what happened?
Third year, what happened? Third year, first semester.
Yeah, because for me, I remember third year was when niggas really started complaining for real.
Yeah.
Like, that's when niggas would look at each other and be like, guys,
Yeah.
Vera, is this money worth it that they're promising us? Because this is something else.
Yeah. So, I think third year, that's when my dream as an actuary died, bruh.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
How
third
so?
year. Like that work was so hard for me, bruh, you know?
Yeah.
That's when and first of all, okay, fine. It was a matter of I didn't even think I was enjoying the work anymore. Do you get what I mean?
You're just trying to get through it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get through it, you know. But at least I still enjoyed the statistics. I think the statistics in third year became a bit more practical.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
Yeah, and
it felt like it was starting to come together in third year.
Yeah. You know, expected value. It only clicks at the like. What do they really mean? You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think. So third year was tough. I mean, I felt like 2 courses, you know, in the first semester, and then that put me in a point where I had to like pass everything in the second semester to graduate and write the dean's exam. You know
because Tax had that thing where UP had that thing where if you only filled 2 modules but passed everything else, they, instead of repeating the models the next year, they can make you write something called the dean's exam.
Yeah.
So you basically in the first semester you failed 2 more semesters.
Yeah. So I basically striked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more strike. You have to repeat the whole year.
So yeah, I remember I was beasting that last semester. Yeah, because like I said, I never play victim. You know?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I you know. Own up to your
shortcomings or mistakes.
Yeah, own up to them, because if I go home and I say, okay, I failed, and then I knew that my parents were not gonna have the money to take me back to school, you know, and then I've come back for 2 modules. No, so I soldiered through, man. Had to soldier through, and
It's also funny how the difference between writing a dean's exam and repeating the whole semester in terms of cost.
Yeah,
because writing a dean's exam is it's sort of like a continuation of your semester. While if you don't write it, it's a brand new semester that you have to pay for altogether. So you really had a lot riding on you in the second semester to make sure everything was covered.
Exactly. And another thing, you know, I think, you know, the friends you keep around you are very influential. You get what I mean? Because I know you guys were like flying through. You were, okay, not exactly flying, but you guys were passing, you know.
Okay.
So I knew that, okay, you know what, the gents are passing, and essentially if I was to come back, I would be the only one. So that also motivated me to know, you know what, I actually want to graduate with the guys. I remember having a dream in second semester, because essentially that was all I could think about, graduation. And I remember my desktop wallpaper was even I will graduate, and I remember having a dream where I was in a hall, and it was a graduation hall, and I can remember my friends graduating and I was crying. So I wasn't sure if I was crying tears of joy in that dream, or you know,
tears of pain,
because, and also I couldn't clearly tell if whether I was part of the graduation ceremony or I was the spectator. So I think once I had that dream, you know, I tried to make sure that I am actually with the guys on the floor, graduating together with them. So it's you know, the friends you keep as well, you know, very good motivators, because you know, they say the law of large numbers, you're gonna be the average of your whatever 5 closest friends you're with, you know. So
that's a very good point, because I always say I'm not sure if I was gonna be able to go through actuarial science if I didn't have the friends that I had in university, because you're with these people and they're passing and you're like, clearly it's possible to pass. You know what I mean? Clearly you see, because if everyone is failing, you'd be like, they're all failing.
Exactly.
But if they're all passing, you're like, maybe it's something I'm doing. Maybe it's so you try to at least get to be at that level. You try to push as much as they do.
Yeah.
And because Yeah, because I remember that third year, especially that second semester, dude. When Feast Must Fall happened and they cancelled classes.
Feast Must Fall actually helped us study more.
Yes. Yeah, because to be honest, if it wasn't for Feast Must Fall, it felt like we were at a point where the pot was boiling and was about to tip over. Feast Must Fall closed it for like 3 minutes for us to get our stuff together, and then they're like, okay, keep on boiling. Because I remember people were going to strike. I was like, screw that, now I'm going to study and people were like, oh, you don't support the movement, you don't Africans must fall. Like, oh, you don't support the movement, you don't support. I'm like, I see the movement, but once the movement is done, y'all are cracks. Y'all already get 90s. I'm here swimming in my 50s and touching 60s. So, hey man, that's when I was like, is the world more important, or should I survive to be able to help the world? And I'm like, study. And then that other, what was it, 3-2-1, where 3-2-1, where it was English exam. I remember working in that thing, and I think like 60% of the class was just
coming back. So I've been a sub regular, right? So I was surprised when I saw certain people. I'm like, you are coming in here in the sub.
That was my it was the last exam, and it was my first and only sub in like my third year, and I was like, I can't feel this thing, man. And I missed it like by 2% or something, and but a sub, and you're like, at least I got another chance, you know what I mean?
Take it and run.
You take it and run.
Yeah.
So what's this? After you do the Dean's exam, that's when you graduated, and then you're like, okay, not actuarial science, I'm going to stats honors.
Yeah, so they took me for stats honors anyway. You know, I didn't have the exemptions for the actuarial honors. You know, so yeah, and the stats was the honors was fun. It was lots of fun. It was mind opening.
I heard you guys at stats were having more fun in your degree than us actuarial science honors, because us we were always crying. You're like, oh, it's nice, it makes sense now. We're like, we are confused this side.
I think it's because they forced it to be a bit more practical. And although the mathematics was still there, they would always make a point to make it practical for us, link it practically. And the thing is, what it actually did is that it brought everything that you did from first year, second year, third year, and into one thing, and into fun little projects, solving problems, and it was quite fun. It was quite fun.
Because you guys were doing some very interesting things, and some very interesting, like, fine, from the outside, we saw that, because I remember this one, because stats was known for proofs in tax. Like, I remember in our third year, I think we had like at least 100 proofs per semester. And you had to know each and every proof. If not cramming, you have to understand it. You know what I mean? I remember in your honors, you showed me not a page, like a proof that was 2 or 3 pages long.
It was actually 6 pages.
6 pages long. Like,
I remember that proof.
I don't think people understand how deep that is, because with the proof, it has to link from one step to another. If you jump steps, they're like, okay, what happened? And you can't and if they cannot see the link, they just strap the whole thing over, and like you don't know what you're doing. Because it was easy to cram certain parts, but everything had to link. And when you see a 6-page proof, meaning, okay, if this equals to that, start, and then you have to go all the way, and then next page. And I remember you were practicing for that thing. I'm like, there's no way you're getting this, boy.
I think for that one proof, right? I think there was this one day I spent about 8 hours just on it alone.
Just one proof.
Yeah. Yes. Because it's just one of those. It's just one of those. You know that this one is gonna come.
Yes.
You've heard previous students, crying about it. So it's just one of those that it's gonna come. And if it comes and you're not prepared, you're not going to capitalize on it. So I remember it was just one night, and I spent that long. I spent that long trying to get it, but man, it was more fun than my undergraduate studies.
Would you say that cemented your approach when it came to work, that you were gonna focus on something that was more focused on statistics rather than actuarial science? Because what's this? You were offered a lot of actuarial jobs, and you opted to go for rather a more statistic-based job, like as a quant. Of course, that got transitioned into like trading on the floor for the bank. But what's this? When you were in it, you went to a graduate program that a lot of people to get into it, you need more of a quant-based background.
So the mathematics helps a lot. Yeah.
It helps a lot. So was there a reason why you didn't pursue the traditional actuarial route rather than?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, in my third year, I realized that I didn't enjoy actuarial work then. Maybe it was a bit too premature, for me to make that decision. But I could see that, I don't see myself working and doing traditional actuarial work. The statistics is fun. I remember when I was doing honors, I actually was in Stellenbosch at a quantitative trading hedge fund, So, and the head of research there was she had 2 PhDs in statistics, right?
2 PhDs. This is the
yes. So I think one from Stellenbosch and the other one from the University of Columbia. Yeah. So she so at the same time I was busy with my thesis, she had a book where I referred my thesis on her desk, So essentially she would get some of the theorems that she uses for her trading strategies from that book. And then I was like, although my I won't lie, in that book my thesis was probably just a paragraph there, and that's the only page that I knew in the whole book. So for me that was so exciting, and I clearly remember her going through the presentation. It was very confidential, but essentially they went through the math that they go through towards building their trading strategies and it was very fascinating for me. And at the same time my thesis was 0.1% of what she's doing, but that
still the fact that something that you referenced while doing your honors thesis is actually being used and applied
real life.
in real life.
Exactly.
And with actuarial science, it's not easy to see that link. With statistics, it's easy because the formulas. They tell you like, there's black squares when they're calculating investment returns and stuff like that. And then you go to an investment bank, and someone's like, I remember the black squares. And you're like, so you guys are using actuarial science is like, insurance is like this. You go to it like, insurance is like that, but that's not practical. This is practical. So that like sparked something in you.
So it really sparked an interest, and although I don't even remember 99% of the presentation, right? But it was just one of those things, and then it came to me that I could actually use what I'm doing right now, and when something brings life to you, you just like, I just want to see more of this. I want to go and try out more, and so that was the first spark into the financial markets world. And then I remember when Investec offered me an opportunity. The guys have an algorithmic an electronic trading desk, so I was like, you guys have that. And when the internship opportunity came, so they actually sponsored my honor studies, just from there, that was the reason why I went to Investec in the first place, because they have that, and I wanted to learn as well, learn about financial markets, and to just actually find out what's happening. Because so for me, I'll find that for the longest time I'm actually very confused, but I still remain interested.
Yes. Yeah. Which is very important, especially when it comes to difficult work.
So I think I remember my internship in the Cape Town office. It was like a week. But from then I stayed interested throughout, just trying to see on the internet, although I never really, I think I only wrote my first trading algorithm 1.5 years later, but you know, in the time I stayed interested. But yeah, that's so anyway, statistics is important. It was an important spark to the current journey that I'm at, although I think a couple of things have changed since then. Yeah.
So okay, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's this after, like, so you had that internship? I remember it was honors, in your honors year, that when you went to Stellenbosch.
Yeah.
And then that cemented, like, okay, this is where it's at for me.
This is where it's at.
Yeah,
that was like, this is where the juice is at.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, you guys are already sponsoring me. Let me get into your graduate program. And then you got in. And then a year and a half later, all of a sudden you're on the trading floor of one of the biggest banks in the country. How was it?
It was exciting, hey? It was really exciting. I remember the first time when I got into the floor, like it has this energy, man. Like it's the floor has energy, and I think which is something that I missed while working here from home, you know. Yeah. So sorry, your question was
like how was it finding being on the floor?
So being on the floor. Being on the floor was exciting, you know. You get vast different types of characters, you know. It's not just a room full of, let's say, just doctors or a room full of nurses. It's a room full of different people with different skills doing different things, all in financial market, and it has this buzz, you know. It has this buzz. Traders are there shouting, salespeople are shouting orders, you know. It was just a very bizarre moment for me. I remember that was the first time when I went in, when I was still trying to get the bursary. But yeah, when I started working there, it was a fun experience because there's different characters, and you get to. So I was worried for a very long time when I started. When I started, because there wasn't a lot of people who studied actuarial science on the floor, you know. So I was worried that, okay, did I really just spend 5 years of my life studying, doing something that I would never really use in my life, you know? Because I mean, you see someone who of a totally different qualification to you, and they're doing well. So I think it was more of a transitioning phase for me in terms of success, you know, in terms of how you define success, because you realize that you're not really getting trained to be a robot from school, you know.
Yes.
It's more of, you just need to go there and whatever space you're in, use your skills to your advantage, and no two people are going to use the same skills to get to a solution, you know. And then I think I later began to appreciate that. So for me, coming from a math and statistics background, I've always tried to use it as my problem solving skills, you know. Whenever a problem is given to me, be it that someone else would have approached it another way, I will approach the problem mathematically. And it's nice how, so I also built a couple of models that whenever someone of experience talks, the model is in sync with the person, and then you actually in line, you know. Proves are like, oh, okay, this is how you see it, but this is how I see it, but we're seeing the same thing.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of mathematics, really.
But do you think what's this with what you said about you worried about studying something that you never use? Do you think that actual the whole course, because from statistics it's kind of obvious that you use your statistics coding and your way with numbers to be able to build algorithms and build mathematical equations that talk to algorithms, or use PhD papers that you are able to understand because you have honors and stats, and you're just like you always say, you don't think there's a formula that you can put in front of us now that, given enough time and explanation of the different variables, we won't understand what it's trying to say and how it goes from one step to another. But do you think that the 4 years prior of studying trust, does it have any help? Did it give you any advantage or disadvantage? So
I think the only it's not the only advantage, but the advantage that mathematics give you is that like really any problem you approach, you try and break it down and try and solve it in a logical way and in a numbers way.
Yes.
Yeah. So no, it wasn't a waste. It wasn't a waste because when and also my approach to any difficult stuff now is different, you know, because you've been solving all these different equations. It's just that now these equations are a bit more abstract, you know, in real life, you know. Yeah, but really, I think the one thing about an actuarial study, like actuarial studies, is that your attitude towards difficult things change.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
you know, they're like, you're saying it's difficult. You know, okay, I just don't want to solve it. Like you see, I have a Rubik's Cube there. I have never solved that thing, but it doesn't mean that I can't solve it.
Thing is, I think maybe that's also something, that's a very good thing you mentioned, is that you know that if you want to solve it, you'll be able to. It's just a matter of willingness.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's
like any difficult thing. Like for instance, I know at work, I'm doing projects, economic-based projects that I never thought I'd even consider.
Yeah.
And it's just from the get-go, you're like, how are you going to do this? But you're just like, okay, this is difficult, but okay, let's take a step back. Let's break it down one by one. What's the problem? What are we trying to do? And then slowly but surely you build on it. And then that's, I think also for me, that's what HR science helped me. It's just my approach to quote-unquote difficult things is that difficult for me is not even a word. Like when you say difficult, it's even like, oh yes, bring it on.
Exactly.
It's just like you are able to take a difficult thing and have the believe in yourself that you know you're gonna figure it out. Just a matter of time.
It's a matter of time.
Having that moment of clicking, like aha, you know, that's when it is.
Yeah. So that's what I would say has been the biggest takeaway from it, because, but yeah, that's essentially.
So what's this? Now what's this? You're on the training floor. Basically, you're a professional trader. You're Wolf of Wall Street lifestyle, more or less. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But one thing I would say, I wish I was in banking 20 years back. You know?
Really?
Yeah. Because the guys were eating fresh. Now we're in the wrong time. You know?
Now they're watching you guys very closely. You can't just eat the cake the way you want. You gotta be like, okay, let's just cut it here and here.
Yeah.
So what's this? Do you think? What's this? How do you view trading now that you've done it professionally? Because we all, most of us were bitten with that Forex. That Forex fever in varsity at some point. We saw it as like, okay, especially like you said, nothing is difficult per se. Not nothing is difficult, but we don't see a lot of things as difficult anymore. After you finish your trial science, after you understand what difficult means and what it means in terms of approach and confidence in approach, you start understanding that actually difficult is relative to the person. So when Forex came through and people were like, oh, only 5% were successful in Forex, we were like, okay, they see it the same in actuarial science. We, of course, I also want to make money. And we're all bitten with the Forex fever. But not a lot of us are as fortunate as you are, as you do Forex in varsity on a side basis, but you actually went into a job that does it as a professional. Do you think there's a difference, or it's just same?
I think you see, conceptually, I think trading is trading.
Yes.
Right? But when you are doing it through a bank, then it's very different to how retailers view it, you know. So yeah, I mean on a trading desk, we have economists, you know, you have all these resources with you. And I think another different is that so I think one of the biggest difference is that the banks are not leveraged when trading, and the second one is that when you buy something, you actually buy it the same way. When you buy a fridge, it gets delivered in 4 days. Either you are buying or selling dollars, it gets delivered. And if you're buying dollars, you need to have rands that you sell, and if you're selling did I say that right? You know, if you want to buy dollars, you are buying dollars and selling rands. So you need to have rands that you are selling available. So it's like an inventory basis. You get what I mean? Whereas for on the retail side, it's CFDs, so it's just a contract for difference. All you're doing when you press buy on MetaTrader or whatever, you're basically just having the right to either have like the change in difference to where you basically got your price.
So actually there's no physical
exchange, you know. Whereas when you buy dollars with the bank and you buy it value spot, you know that so spot is in 2 days time. So when you see a price, say, I think the rand closed at 1668 or whatever, when you buy dollars there, they're going to get delivered to you in 2 days time. So hence that's why. And another role is that there's the market making side of the business, you know. So you make a market in.
When you say market making and you make a market, what do you mean?
So market making is essentially assuming the role to buy and sell at any given point in time.
As in like an
so if
intermediary
you come to,
or what?
So I don't really know what to say. But how I would put it is that the only difference with a market maker is that I don't know how to put it. Like you're prepared to buy and sell something at any given point in time.
Oh, so what's this? It's more like you provide a guarantee that if no one is selling in the market, you can come to me in a way. Is it something like just to keep the market alive even in times when no one is willing to operate?
So hence that's why we have liquidity. You know, how many market makers are there at any given point in time to show a price? You know,
okay.
So there's the market making side of things, and I think the benefit of market making is that you can capture the spread. You know, I mean, if you buy low and you can buy low and sell high every day. You know, that's what market making is. If you can, for example, if someone comes and then they sell me something, right? I have it in my position and someone else wants to buy it and then I take it away. So essentially, I don't assume any risk.
Yes.
You see, so you capture the full spread. You know, that's another point of the business. Another part of the business of which the retail side doesn't have. You know, so it's different, and the way I think the market is viewed, because you know that as a market maker, especially when you're dealing with the derivative space, you can move the market in the derivatives because there isn't as many price contributors. You know, but whereas as a retailer, you will never move the market with a CFD. No matter if you're trading 100 lot sizes or whatnot, you never move the market.
Even if you're trading substantial amount.
Even if you're trading substantial amount, because it's a contract for difference. You know,
you're not exchanging.
You're not exchanging anything.
You're technically not really influencing the market. You're just using the market movement.
You are trying to gain or lose from the market movement. You get what I mean?
So the people who move money in the background, you are just trying to be like, hey,
okay, whenever this guy moves the money. But I must say, I think the South African market, with the small time I've been in financial markets, especially when you look at our currency, it's very, very liquid. Like large amount of dollars can go through and without really moving the market. It's only one of those odd days when you can see that, okay, you know. Yeah.
Do you, is that why it's also volatile, or is that different?
Yeah, so so the volatility, I think SA has been considered one of the darlings of emerging markets.
Okay.
Yeah, so the hunt for yield, they know that there is a lot of liquidity in our currencies. So our bond market is also mature to some extent, although the Reserve Bank has had to interfere a couple of times this year to maintain stability. But when you look at our currency, you know, I think the guys can come in and come out as much as they want. So basically, they like that. So imagine now, if there's no liquidity, it means that, okay, fine. If you own a house, imagine if you couldn't sell it.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean? You want that flexibility that, okay, if I buy this house, I'll be able to sell it without any hassle. You know, so they know that those guys, even if, so let's say the rand is a house in SA, they know that, okay, they can buy this house and sell it without problems.
So they get the benefit of playing with emerging market sector, but also the South Africa is I don't want to say unique, but it's one of those situations where it's emerging market, but it's also liquid, because usually emerging markets, people are afraid of them, and that fear causes them not to be liquid, because people are afraid they wouldn't want to buy and sell as easily. So there's not a lot of movements happening.
Exactly.
While in SA, I guess the JSE does help a lot in ensuring that the liquidity. Or am I?
Yeah. So one thing. I mean, we are one of the few countries in Africa that actually has a stock exchange.
Yes.
So yes, in terms of equity, that helps a lot. So I think, we are considered to be one of powerhouses in terms of financial systems in Africa. So I think that helps a lot as well. Yeah.
In terms of giving people confidence.
Yes. Although there's a lot of things that we still need to fix in our country, but the guys, I think they're still happy to play while the ball is hot. So yeah.
So with that being said, would you say that like your colleague, like someone on the floor who's been trading for 20 years on the market, and then someone on Instagram who's has Rolls Royces and Range Rovers and is making a lot of money, would you say that person can just come to investing and make the same money for the people, or do you think those people are doing two different things?
So I think there are a couple of things I highlighted, right? It's the market making, right? And market making is a skill.
Yes.
It's a skill that needs to be acquired. And does retail platform give that opportunity? No.
Yes.
So it takes a bit of time. Although yes, I think one thing that helps you if you are those Instagram people, I don't know why they would actually want to even come to the professional side. Well, I actually don't know, but like anything, they know that, okay, they can at least groom this person, although maybe there might be a couple of myths they need to take out of that person, because there's a way that business operates. So they would have to be taught a couple of things, understanding of how the risk needs to be managed, and etc. So I think it is possible.
So there's people who on Instagram telling us that 100% profit, 100% guarantee, they're onto something.
Nothing is 100%.
Nothing is 100%.
Nothing is 100%. But at the same time, although we've talked about this, about the thing is, in life, right, you can't take away the fact that some people are lucky, right? Although there's been a lot of scams, there's been a lot of scams about people, especially when you'll see, even in the best funds in the world, they never guarantee you anything. They say past performance is not indicative of future.
There's always that clause.
So I think as soon as someone is saying that, then you know what they say, if it's too good to be true, then you need to, so, but it is possible. It is possible, but
it's not likely.
You just need to be careful. You have to be careful.
So you wouldn't take your money and throw it at some Instagram nigga to make money?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, you would?
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah. What's this? Do you just think that it's better? It's much. Because what's this? I would imagine. Because for me, on my case, like I said, I've tried Forex before, and to be honest, it clappered me. Like it really destroyed. No, I didn't lose a lot of money because what's this? I knew how risky it is, so I knew how much to put on. That if I'm willing to lose it, it's fine. But it's just I realized that you can make $1,000 in a day, you can lose it the next day.
So and the big factor of that is leverage.
Leverage.
Yes. So leverage. They say it's like, what is this, a mouse eating its own tail or something like that. So it's double-edged. So I think the reason why a lot of people lose money is that I don't think they understand leverage. You know?
They understand the upside.
They understand the upside
of leverage,
but the downside, you know.
They underestimate the other side.
Yeah, but also, I mean, why would I be doing with someone who advertises their financial business on Instagram, you know? So I'm taking more of a professional route to stuff, you know. Yeah. So I've never really seen even billionaires like on their Instagram even advertising their businesses. They have LinkedIn's, they have professional sites for those, you know. So certificates, you know. Not to discredit the other guys' hustles, you know. But I'm just saying from my side, you know. I would rather maybe, because for me it's not just about the monetary upside. It's also about a career, you know. I'm sustainability and building a career off of this, and not just to try to get rich very quickly, you know. Yeah, so it's more of building a career. And that's about that. If
like, let's say the biggest banks, like if let's say all the banks in the country, if they could triple their money with guarantee, don't you think they would do it? I mean, I think it can be summed up as simple as that. If someone promises you five times return in 3 days and it's a guarantee. I mean, like if they could do that, the biggest banks in the world would probably try to do that every day.
Like this, as I say, if it's too good to be true, man, then it probably is. But I won't lie, there are some people who are lucky.
Yes. Yeah. Like, not to be honest, I know certain people who have made substantial returns on Forex, but at the same time, I know way more people who just got completely destroyed.
I think that's the nature of the business, because it's a zero-sum game, you know. And what is it called? It's called Mediocristian, where it's Extreme Christian or something like that. It's in the book by who's this guy, Nicholas Taleb. And he talks about how some careers only, let's say 5% really makes it, but the rest, you know. So I think that's the nature of finance anyway.
You know? So that it regardless of which route you take, if it has to do with finance, usually
the winner takes it all.
It's
like
it's winner takes it all, and losers just sit and watch.
You see. So I think the only delusion that's been made is that we can all be winners. No, because if you made $1,000, someone else has lost $1,000. You know, because that's the nature of a zero-sum game. So,
but it's just also sad that it's not 50% who make 1,000, 50% who lose 1,000. It's 5% who win all the 95% 1,000.
You know. So but people can be lucky, and if you're lucky and good, you know, it's good for you.
Well, what's this? I think we touched on a lot of things. We can go and touch on a whole lot of other things. And what's this? I think this can be as good a time as any to kind of wrap up. And what's this? Again, like I said, thank you for doing this, and
thanks, man. It was fun.
And what's this? It went through smoothly. Do you think there's anything that you'd just like to highlight per se, like in terms of how things are perceived, like for instance, work expectation versus the reality of it, or what you thought was going to happen after varsity versus what is actually happening? Do you think there's anything that you need to highlight? Or
I didn't think I was going to learn so much outside of work. I think in my time working, I've learned so much, you know. And I think one thing is also just about being curious and being a sponge, you know. So not just work, but even in your general life, you know. So I think my expectations in varsity, I didn't really have that lot of expectations. I just thought I'm just gonna work and get paid.
You didn't really think of it.
I didn't really think about it, but now there's a lot of things that you're getting to learn. I mean, you realize how vast the world is, you know. So
if someone was to try to say, I want to replicate hashtag I'm Quintine Mkhondo. Like, I want to do actuarial science and maybe go into financial markets at work, or rather do statistics. What would you say to them, per se? Would you tell them anything, do anything different than you did, or would you just say, what would you say?
Yeah, so I think for someone who wants to be in financial markets, okay, I would say be a lot more curious about your world outside of school. You know, I don't think I was particularly very curious. I didn't care what's happening in America. I didn't care what's happening around the world. It was just basically me. I go to class, I come back, you know, watch some series, you know. So I think yeah. Besides the studying, so the mathematics is very good. Actuarial studies, you know, the statistics were good, built up, and relationships, you know, like have
very important,
very, very, very important. I know a couple of times I've been offered jobs solely because of relationships, you know. But of course, you need to have the papers, you know.
Yeah, you need to have something to open the door to those relationships.
Exactly. So. Yeah, and I would say stay curious and work hard, eh?
So curiosity is the biggest thing when it comes to financial markets. And I don't necessarily think that you have to study actuarial science. There's so many things you can study.
You can, yeah.
Investment management. You can study purely mathematical statistics. You can study applied mathematics.
You can study applied mathematics.
I believe it's the most underrated degree because of how much machine learning needs applied maths, how much engineering needs applied maths.
But wouldn't you say that actuarial was a nice blend of everything? It was almost like a nice perfect mix for statistics, applied maths.
Yes,
so,
that is true because especially at UP, first and second year, applied maths, mathematical statistics and actuarial students fundamentally had the same subjects. So what's this? If you're just that actuarial science had some insurance thing, which it is insurance, but it's just statistics.
It's statistics
used in insurance.
Yeah,
yes,
it's actually like that.
Yes,
That's true.
I'm thinking, for instance, when I do the most actuarial thing that I can think of right now is runoff triangles. Runoff triangles when you're using to calculate what's this? What do you call this? Reserves for, let's say, car insurance. To know how much money to put aside in case 5 people get into an accident today.
Okay.
So runoff triangles just basically says for January, if you're in January, so that we have paid for people in March who claimed in March, people who claimed in February, people who claimed in January. We know that pattern kind of repeats itself. So we can use that pattern to say put this much money
away for a particular month.
Exactly, and you use those things. And how do you calculate this? You use averages in the past. You use you know what I mean, graphs, like distributions. What are those? Those are statistics. You know.
Yeah.
So it's actuarial science really like helped open the door to different things. But if you know that you wanna hone in on a singular statistic thing, maybe studying statistics might be more worthwhile than having to take on all these other extra burdens that comes with actuarial science.
But I would say that for people who didn't know or don't know what to do, you know, actuarial is probably the best.
Yes,
because you know, I mean, for me, I remember that, like, as I said, I didn't know that I want to be in financial markets until I was in honors.
Yes.
And I was, even though I changed my mind so late, I was still in a great place to land a job in finance, you know. So in terms of flexibility, whether you want to be you want to be a quant at a bank, you know, and all of that stuff. So
actuarial science is like the one that gives you the foothold to be able to transition easily.
Yes.
Because I always say, it's way much easier to move from actuarial science to any other course than it is to move from any other course to actuarial science. It's way much easier. And what's this? They accept you easier. Like I know, and I think that's also one thing before we end that I'd like to highlight is that if you don't accept it in actuarial science in the first year, but I accept it in stats, in second year it's easy to go into actuarial science if you could do good in statistics. But if So what's this? So if you're doing actuarial, but again, you're doing a non-actuarial course. Stats and applied maths might be the ones that are able to transition, but even those are difficult. But I know a lot of people that did actuarial science first year, and when they did applied maths, they didn't even ask them questions. It's just like, you're doing actuarial science, getting coming.
Yeah.
Where to the point where statistics was more like actuarial science B for some people. But that's of course that's an overstatement.
Yeah,
statistics
but
is a very hard course.
But yeah, also when you look back, to be honest, statistics for me, I think, was nicer than actuarial work, bro.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Depending on the approach, if you are more of a technical person, statistics, you're gonna like statistics more than actuarial.
But it was actually 80% of the actuarial thing.
Exactly.
So what are we saying anyway?
But anyway, boy, thank you so much for doing this.
Easy, man.
Dope.
Dope.
We'll make another one later on. What's this? If you wanna come back on,
we'll make it in 10 years' time when I have my own fund.
Hey, man. When we are getting our million rand returns, we talked about this. We start your fund, we contribute, you make the millets, and you pay us. It's super simple.
I win.
But boy, thank you so much.
Easy, man.
Sure.